Guys, welcome to the One Percenter Podcast. This is Sam Bakhtiar, and I have my man, Chris Gronkowski in the house, former NFL,
Yeah.
and of course, the brother to the big guy, Robert Gronkowski.
Yeah, man. To me, that's the little guy, man. I'm the older bro. So, he was the smaller one until about high school. He surpassed me at that point, and that's when we stopped fighting with each other.
So tell me in relation, tell me your size to his, because I remember, watching him in NFL just a couple of years ago, where he like carried three people into the end zone. Like I was like, I didn't know who he was. I was like, oh my God, this guy just carried three people in the end zone. So what is your size compared to him?
Yeah, man. So I look pretty big until the rest of my family walks out, and then I'm the small guy. So I'm about 6'2" exactly. I played at 240 pounds. I'm smaller now, man. I'm like 215 now, but 6'2", 240 I played at. He's about 6'7" almost. So NBA height, he's probably more like 6'9", man, because those guys, I swear they pump them up a little bit. But official measurement, he's like 6'6" and a half. And about 265 is what he plays at.
Wow. Wow. So that's crazy. You guys come from a family of studs. You said every one of you guys like play in the NFL except the older brother?
Yeah, so four of us played in the NFL at some point. And then my oldest brother, Gordy, he never even played football, man. He was smaller in high school. He's like 6'2", 180. And he went out to one practice. My brother Dan, who was a beast in high school, threw him a pass and it hurt his hands and he quit that day. So he never played football and he's regretted it ever since because he went to college and Gordy's like 6'6" now, about 240 pounds. So he's a big boy as well.
So I'm just like imagining the family dynamic. You guys all grown up, a bunch of boys in the house, you know what I mean? And all, all the competitiveness of the boys that can have go against each other and all that kind of stuff. And was it who put you guys in football? Was it like your dad, a big football fan, that kind of breeded these guys to go, these kids to just to become football players? Because it's amazing to see a family of just studs that played in the NFL.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because it wasn't like that at all. My dad did play college football. His goal for us really was to get us a college scholarship at the end of the day. But we went into sports early because when you have five kids, man, you got to get them outside. Like there's no other option. So my parents were like, "Hey, we're going to do everything we can to get the energy out of these kids because it's just too much to handle." So, my mom couldn't bring us to church. She couldn't bring us out to eat. We weren't invited over to our family and friends' houses anymore after the second kid. So they're like, we got to do something, right? So sports, we started with hockey and baseball was really the main two. We grew up in Buffalo, New York, so hockey was big, and that led into hitting and fighting. You're allowed to hit, you're allowed to check, and you're allowed to fight. And we grew up just fighting, man. All we did was fight with each other. My dad's rules were, if you have a problem, take it outside and fight it out. And as long as you don't punch each other in the face or in the balls, you're good. Let it happen. And then when you're good, when you guys settle it, come back inside. We're good to go for the day. So that's how we're raised. Football came later. Came in high school at that point, and it was never forced upon us. My dad always taught us, if you want to do it, I'll help you, and you're going to go all in. But if you don't want to do it, that's fine. If you don't want to play sports, there's nothing wrong with that. There's other avenues you can take, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, with not playing sports. So it was never forced upon us. But once we did it, we were going all in at that point.
The guy was like, I can't afford five colleges, man. You all better get a scholarship or something because I can't pay for this crap, right? And five people in college, man, it could be expensive. So tell me, your beginning days in the NFL. Tell me how it was and going to the NFL, the experience. And I think you started at Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yeah, man. So for me, it was something I never thought would happen. It was kind of frustrating because my whole life I was told, it's a 1 in a million shot. Get your grades, go to school. Even to go to D1 is very hard, and I really didn't get an offer until the last second. I almost got to college because of my grades, which is kind of funny. I was going to Ivy League. I was accepted into the University of Pennsylvania, into the Wharton Business School, which was a huge accomplishment. And the last minute, the University of Maryland offered me because they were losing a bunch of guys to grades, and they were actually about to go on academic probation. So I got this last minute offer, and it was kind of like, hey, you could come in here, we'll give you a scholarship, but you better have a 4.0. So for me, the NFL in my mind was never even a thing. It was, I had this great opportunity to get the best education I can. I'm going to go to college and I'm going to have a great time. And I'm going to get the best degree that I possibly can for free. And then I'm going to come out and I'm going to do the most I can with it. So the goal was really to go get the hardest degree I could. I was one of two kids and two football players in the business school at Arizona. I ended up transferring to Arizona, and I went for an accounting degree. The only reason I did was because I was good with numbers and I knew it was hard. And so I was like, all right, if I can get this degree, I have all these extra credits because we had to take summer school with football. I'll parlay that into getting a CPA degree, and at least I'll come out of college with, a pretty good job. As a CPA, you're going to get at least 60 starting, and you're going to move up the ranks pretty fast. So that was kind of the whole game plan. And I had this opportunity and this one chance really is what it came down to play for the Cowboys. So with that, man, you got to go all in. My mindset at that point in my life was, my older brother Gordy was drafted in the MLB into the minor leagues. My brother Dan was drafted in the NFL and went to the Detroit Lions. And then my younger brother Rob came out the same draft as me, and he got drafted in the second round. So at that point, I went undrafted. I was the first, brother to go undrafted, and I wasn't going to be that one guy that got asked for the rest of my life. Like, hey, what happened to you? Your whole family played in the NFL. Like, why didn't you make it? So if you want to talk about mindset and motivation and just, really back against the wall, no other options, that was where I was at in my mind. There was no way that I wasn't going to make it.
So your back was against the wall. You were like, I'm not going to be the only brother that get drafted. So tell me about the mindset, what you had to do to get to where you want to be to get drafted.
Yeah. So for me, went undrafted, and that was it was something that I knew would probably happen. I was playing a position where it's kind of a dying breed. It was a fullback, and with fullbacks, there's one on a team. It's not like a tight end position or running back where they're going to carry 3 or 4 guys. And at that time, there's only 28 teams that had a fullback. So 4 teams in the league weren't even using one. So I knew it was going to be a tough thing for me to do. And I went undrafted, but I expected it. But I got picked up immediately afterwards, and it's almost kind of a blessing. My older brother Dan went in the 7th round. He got put onto a team where they drafted him for value. It wasn't necessarily the best place for him. He didn't get to choose where he went, and he's kind of stuck behind a bunch of really good guys. But they brought him in just to because he was the best guy left. So I was able to pick where I wanted to go. I signed with the Dallas Cowboys within like 3 minutes after the draft ended. They've been calling during it. They wanted me there. And so you walk on as a undrafted free agent rookie is kind of what it is. And with that, it's that mindset, this is your one shot, your one opportunity. You have all summer to then train for it, to get ready for camp. And, that was my chance. I knew I had about 3 or 4 months where I was going to become the best player that I possibly could. And what ended up happening that was really lucky for me as well is when I came in the first day, I met back up with one of my college roommates from Maryland, and he also went undrafted. And so we made this whole pack on day one. We were going to be roommates. No player in the last 10 years had made the Dallas Cowboys team as an undrafted free agent. And we said, fuck that, man. We're going to make this pack right now that both of us are going to make this team on day one. We're going to do everything we possibly could. So there's times where we brought our helmets back, and he was a center. So he was snapping. I was pretending I was Tony Romo in the hallway. We're taking snaps. We're running sprints outside. We had parties. We called them parties where, we were just taking our vitamins and eating right and just doing everything that we possibly could to make us the best possible player that we were. And man, it was like I was a whole new person. I look back at myself and I would be scared of myself now if I went back and met myself back then, because your whole mind, everything was completely different for me. And I was just, man, you couldn't stop me at that point.
Crazy when human has a singular focus and puts all their energy and all their might and everything they have into just that one singular focus. That's such a powerful thing, man. Even in the book Think and Grow Rich, it states that that's the most powerful thing you can do at that time. It's the singular focus of what you want to do, and you achieved it. So how was it all of a sudden playing in the big league? Getting accepted and playing, in the NFL.
Man, it was the most stressful thing you could Yes, we do. That's for sure. What people don't realize is, first off, every player isn't making millions. I signed a 3-year deal for 1.2 million. I had a $10,000 signing bonus. After I got paid that $10,000, if I got cut before Wednesday of any week, I was on the street making $0, zero benefits. I had nothing at that point. So, with the NFL, everything's under a microscope. Everything is recorded. Everything's filmed. What people don't know is, if I'm 1 minute late, it's $1,000 fine. If I come in 1 pound overweight, they fine me per pound overweight that I come in. There's guys that were losing half their paycheck for partying on the weekend and coming in 5 to 10 pounds overweight, and they're sitting there with sweatsuits on at 4 a.m. in the morning trying to sweat out and get that water weight out of them. But it's not a game. At that point, it's a job, and it's a very hard job, and it's everyone's looking at you, everyone's focused on you, especially as a rookie in the Dallas Cowboys organization. A ton of pressure on you at that point. So, I definitely made the most of it. It was a dream come true for me, but I didn't sleep a day, a full night's sleep my entire NFL career. I remember the first time when I was done playing, I slept in, and it was like, what did I do? What's wrong? How much did I just get fined? Because I slept in. So, I would go to the dentist every year, and they'd be like, hey, you need to start wearing a mouth guard to bed, because all I would do at night is just grind my teeth, because I was so stressed out at that point. So that's the stuff that, people just don't see. It is a game, it is a dream come true, but man, it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. And, you're there at 5 a.m. It's not just your athletic ability. It's also learning a playbook. It's also being a part of a team. There's so much more: injury prevention, injury, just recovery, man, just playing through pain. There's just so much else that comes with it.
It's your whole, and I bet, the discipline that you learned, getting there, and getting there, and the discipline you learned being in the NFL is what transpired you to invent Ice Shaker, and also, become such an acute businessman. Because I know you have a strong brand, and you're all over you're nationwide. You're in a vitamin shop now. You're getting purchase orders from grocery stores, and and GNCs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, not too many people have done what you've done with your business. How much of that business success do you credit your discipline and everything that you learned getting to where you are in NFL and in sports?
Man, it's the same thing. Is what it comes down to. It really is. I mean, everything you learn in sports transitions right over to business. And I'm actually mad about some of the things that I missed. But I'll talk about that in a second. But what really transitions? It's the hard work, it's the long hours. Everything depends on you. If you're going to be successful, it's because of the work that you put in, the work that you did, especially early on as a business owner. But man, there's so many other things too. Like I was saying before, you have to learn a playbook in the NFL. You have to study as well in business. You have to know your opponent. You have to know the market. Uh, you know, uh, I think one of the biggest things that I learned was kind of through college as well as just time management. Time management is huge, especially now with kids. With 3 kids, and before I'd work 80-hour weeks, and I didn't care. I don't mind working, but when family is in the picture, then it's a whole different ballgame. You can't just work all day long. I can't work all day Saturday. I can't work all day Sunday. I can't work past 5. So I have to really figure out ways to manage my time the best way that I can to get the most done in the most efficient way. And then, the last thing that was actually a big mistake for me that I had to come back and really focus on this year was teamwork. As an athlete, you would think that it would just be something natural to be, a great team player, and it is. But once you leave and you go into your own business, that same structure isn't there. You have to create that structure and that team and that culture. And for me, I was so competitive. It was my business. It was my baby that I didn't realize that I wasn't letting anyone else be team players. I wasn't giving them the responsibility. I wasn't letting them grow. I wasn't even really building a team. I was trying to do it all myself because I was just that's how you are as an entrepreneur at first, which is great until you hit certain milestones. You can't scale if you're doing everything yourself. So I got to that point. We're growing so much that even with 80-hour weeks, I couldn't keep up. And that's when I just took too long to build a team. And so one of my biggest mistakes, and when I tell people with businesses, when you can afford it, get that team and give them that responsibility and let them run with it. I would do it where I would give them responsibility, and then the next day I'd be in there and I'd be fixing it, or I try to correct it, and I wouldn't really let them do it themselves. Instead of teaching them the right way, I was then trying to still do the work over top of them. So really build a good team out, teach them the right way, and let them run with it, because they'll get better than you at most things as well. And you'll be surprised by how good your employees are if you train them the right way and you bring in the right people.
Love it. Love it. Now let's talk about, you were in Shark Tank, right?
Yeah. So, man, that was a huge experience for me, and
I'd love to,
it's
I'd love to see the inside. Tell me what happened. Tell me about the experience.
yeah, for sure. So, 6 months in, man, this is a whole plan too, and it's kind of like game planning, man. And what ended up happening to me was I had an email from 2012 when I was with the Broncos. I was in the middle of my career, my football career, and it simply just said, "Hey, ABC Shark Tank is looking for any current or former NFL players to pitch on the show." So I saw this, and I had absolutely nothing at that time. I was focused on my career, but I loved the show, and I said, "Man, one day I'm going to come back to this email, and I'm going to have something great for them." So I kept it, and it was almost 5 years later. I came back to it, and I actually waited. I thought of Ice Shaker, thought it had some legs, but I wanted to make sure I had some sales and some proof of concept before I actually contacted them.
You
So
saw Shark
I
Tank.
waited about three. Yeah, so I ended up waiting about like 3 months. I was so excited. I'm like, I got this great idea. I got to hit them up. Got to hit them up, and I just had to wait though. So I waited about 3 months, and I had about $25,000 in sales at that point. And I'm like, man, I don't know if that's enough, but I know they're gonna start filming soon for this season. I really want to catch the season, so I shot them an email and got a response back after 5 years. And I'm like, no way, this is really gonna happen. And she simply wrote like, hey, I don't work there anymore. And I was like, damn, man. This whole game plan in my head just got completely shot. And then it was like 5 to 10 minutes later, she's like, but I just found the girl that does, and here's her contact. So I reached out to her, and she wrote back right away and was like, hey, please submit a video. And so they had guidelines on and all that, but I knew at that point it was kind of like being a free agent rookie, man. I had this one shot, right? And I knew it was an entertainment show. So I'm like, all right, let's make this video just ridiculous. Let's rip the shirt off, show some TD catches. Had my brother come in for a workout, and I just went all out, man. And I'm like, it's either going to be awesome or they're going to be like, what's wrong with you?
This is see, what I love about you, you seize the moment. And this is the second time you've done it. Second time that you discussed here, that you saw an opportunity, where you and your roommate got together. They says, look, we're going to be the only rookies that non-drafters are going to make it, whatever it took. And you had the opportunity to get in front of Shark Tank, and you pulled out all your resources, all your might, and you went all in. And that's what I love about you, bro. You always have gone all in everything that you've done. And I think maybe that's, part of what, you remember your dad said, if you're going to do it right or not doing it at all, right? And I think that's
Yep.
part of it, man. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at that point, it was, they hit me back, and they loved the video. They're like, that's perfect. Like, awesome. From there, it's still a ton of paperwork and background checks and all that to actually get on the show. And then it's preparing for it, and that get asked all the time, what was harder, pitching in front of the Sharks or playing in an NFL game? And for me, all day it was NFL, man, because NFL is unpredictable. You can practice as much as you want, but on that first snap, that guy might that linebacker you have, he might blitz on the outside, and all of a sudden that play that you drew up just completely changed on the fly. Whereas with Shark Tank, I was able to go back 9 seasons and watch every single question that was asked, write down every single answer, and just I was ready, man. It was easy at that point. I was confident. I knew the product. I knew the questions that were coming. So practiced. I even practiced my flip cup. So if you watch, all the brothers, we just crushed them in flip cup as well, and flipped them in one. But everything was practiced and ready to go, and I was super prepared. And with that, with preparation comes confidence. So went up there confident. Had my secret weapons in the back. My 4 brothers that ran out gave me a huge chest bump, and it was on at that point, man. And we ended up getting offers from all 5 and closing a deal with Mark Cuban and Alex Rodriguez.
Wow, man. That is so awesome, bro. And you said something that I want to just make sure the audience heard. You said what preparation comes confidence. And that to me, man, is something that, is so true. Preparation eliminates fear. Preparation, breeds confidence. And a lot of people, if they're fearful and if they're not confident, it's because they didn't take the time to prepare. If you just take the time to prepare, you're going to go out there and crush it. And you got 5, every shark came in, wanted it, and you made, and Alex Rodriguez and Mark Cuban, oh my God. So how was it working with them? Holy cow. And by the way,
man,
in this episode, you gotta send me a link or something like that. I will, that's what I'm watching tonight.
Yeah. It's a good one, man. Super high energy. But yeah, it is everything that people say it is. So, it's real. They didn't know who I was when I walked out there. The investment that comes into your account is real. It's their money. It comes in. You really get it. And what also is real is the sales, man. We went from 80,000 in sales our first 6 months. We had an update. We did over 3 million in the next 12 months after we aired. So we pretty much 20x'd overnight. And then I guess what people don't see or don't even think about is that, the work also 20x'd overnight. I went from a side hustle, shipping out of this room that I'm in right now, and storing the product in this room to, hey, I got to get a building. I got to get a staff. I got to start putting together a real business. And, it became a lot of work overnight. So you don't just sit on a private island and chill and collect all this cash. That's when the real work starts, when the real business starts. And that's what people just don't realize. With Mark and with Alex, it's still a position where I'm still running everything. These sharks don't come in and just take over your company. They're still, relying on you to run everything. They're just there really for guidance for the most part. So Mark's built out a team. He has probably about over 70 Shark Tank companies now in his portfolio. He's built out a team to help, really consult, and anytime issues come up or I have questions, I can reach out. It's also really good for networking, because if I have an issue, one of these other 70 companies probably do as well. And they probably figure out a way to do it, or they have a good resource to help me with it. So that's awesome to be able to have that network. And then with Alex, it was all about marketing. At that time he was everywhere. He had J-Lo on his side. And so it was, for him, he was also able to get us into gym. So it was a great combination, because Alex brought the promo and, Mark brought the team and the consulting.
Got it. And now, how is iShaker coming along? How is it growing?
So really, once that wave ends, man, that's when you really have to start figuring out business really quick. So that Shark Tank wave hits, and it's awesome because people record it. It lasts for probably a month. That first week is just crazy, man. It's just mayhem, and you're just pumping out orders and margin orders too, because you're not paying for marketing. So it's really nice, and it was great. It was a great way to fund our growth really fast. So we went from one bottle, one size to, let's get more in, let's get more sizes immediately. Let's put all that money back into the company, and let's just keep growing. So, still to this day, I don't take a salary. It was over 2.5 years before I even took a penny out of the company. And even with how well we were doing, as a business owner, if you want to grow, you got to keep pumping it in there. So I try not to pull anything out, and we're going on year 4 now, and we're still growing each and every day. So there's so many new markets for us to hit. One thing that we do that really separates us is we're able to personalize each and every bottle. So we're able to really tap into every single market from anything, man. We've done stuff for Ruth Chris restaurants. We do all kinds of golf events. When Bacardi releases a new drink, they buy our cups, and they'll put the drink on there, or the recipe. Lawyers will buy it, put their business card on it. So our market is just unlimited in where we're going. And up to this point, the only thing stopping us really was inventory. We were sold out all last month, and then we're actually starting to implement a sales team for the first time. We've never actually outreached to anybody. Everything has just flown to us for the most part. So we have so much potential left to go, and it's just all about, like I said earlier, building the right team.
Yeah. Wow. This is amazing. It's amazing. So, where do you, just looking at your ice shaker, they look so unique. And then, the colors are amazing. They just, like I said, you can personalize them. But what really makes them different than other bottles? What is the unique
Yeah.
self?
So for me, and why I started the company was, I was like you, man. I was going to the gym every day, sometimes twice a day at that point. And I'd have this collection of bottles and cups in my sink at the end of the day, and I bring one to work and I bring one to the gym, and I'd use one at home. And I just said, man, like I just want one bottle that I could use all day, every day for everything that I did. I could bring it to work, I could bring it to the pool, I could bring it on the airplane, and I wanted the ability to be able to mix as well. So there's all these other bottles out there that were insulated, and they were just they just wouldn't mix. They weren't easy to fill. They were impossible to clean sometimes. They had these ridiculous brushes that you'd have to have. And I just wanted something that's super easy to fill, clean, could protein in it, could also mix. And then, at the end of the day, I also wanted to keep cold or hot. I think
Awesome.
I'm cutting out a little bit, but so with that, I went and I started to make the best product that I could for myself or for anyone living an active and healthy lifestyle. And that's how it all started. I went home and really for me, I figured I'd just go on Amazon or Google and it would be there. And after searching, there was just nothing like that on the market. And that's why I created it. So really it's just an all day, everyday use for anyone that wants to live an active lifestyle.
You solved a problem for yourself, which many other people needed it as well. And that's it, and that's all about. And that's what system is all about: is solving a problem that nobody else has done. So I'm so glad that you saw it, you saw the opportunity, you saw what was wrong with most blender bottles, and most other bottles, and you came out with a way to fix the problem. That's why you're so successful. Chris, for people who want to find out more about you, follow you, or maybe order, I share your cup. Where can they go? Where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So to find me, it's at Chris Gronkowski. I'm everywhere: Twitter, Instagram. Man, I post on Pinterest, on TikTok, everywhere, man. And it's all a lot of stuff that's value added. I like to post workouts. It makes me, happy when I see that 500 people save my ab workout that I just posted earlier in the week, and then I see them using it and tagging me. That's what I live for. Driving value, because what people don't realize is that when they tag me, it just makes me responsible and feel like I have to continue to do it. So it just pushes me harder as well. So check me out at Chris Gronkowski, and then Ice Shaker, iceshaker.com, and then at Ice Shaker Bottle on all the social handles as well. And then the last place is the Gronked Up podcast. So I know we had you on a couple weeks ago, and that's our podcast as well, and bring a lot of awesome influencers and business owners as well on the Gronked Up podcast.
Brother, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your insights of how you felt and all the discipline that you learned, getting to the NFL and playing in the NFL, and taking that discipline, applying it to business, applying it to Shark Tank, and now you're becoming not only a successful businessman but also a successful family man. This is that's I have nothing but love and respect, brother. I appreciate your time and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Sam.
Hey guys, if you like today's episode, do me a huge favor. Go ahead and leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, leave me a review, and tag a few friends that you think can benefit from what we shared today. Really appreciate it. God bless.